If you're old enough for this, where you were growing up and smartphones started becoming a thing while you were still in grade school, you know how like occasionally a friend will like be laughing at something, you see them looking at on their phone and like they want to show you, or you might even ask? On occasion, it's just like a funny meme, and sometimes it's a meme you might consider funny, but also very, very cursed. I've held on to this particular video for the better part of a decade, and I can tell you what it is. Maybe the title and thumbnail already gave it away, but I'm just gonna let the first few seconds play and let the absurdity of it flashbang you, give you some semblance of the authentic experience I got as a 12-year-old. It's hard to get a stronger opening than that, I'll give it to him. One thing you gotta realize is that this video is like 10 years old, like 2014 is around when it came out, and that was around epic rap battle of history's peak. Even today, you still see like knockoff or rap battle formats inspired directly by ERB popping up today, and by the standards of what was being put out then, this is a pretty competently produced one. As far as like the technicalities go, like man, this shit is in 60 FPS. You don't need that for this video. One thing I was never able to figure out is I heard a rumor this was actually made for a school project, and I would pay fucking money to see the reaction of the teacher when this got played in class. If that's the case, of course.
Oh, gross. Battling you is worse than being around Fregley. But just like your face, this match is getting ugly.
Greg Heffley is very much just a 12-year-old slinging mud, calling someone ugly. It's playground insults at the moment. These bars get absurd, and believe it or not, there's a genius lyric breakdown page we can take a look at for some guided reading on the subject.
Bit attack so fast you will not see them coming.
This was back in the day when saying I did not see that coming in regards to, you know, Nazis doing something was still like a newer joke you could make, or at least there was a lot more people who would be hearing it for the first time from you because it wasn't nearly as widespread on the internet and shit. Definitely existed though.
And frankly, I got you cornered so you can't hit the ground running. It's
and frankly, Jesus, man! Who wrote this?
It's a good thing you never grew up. Wiener Schnitzel eater followed.
When I first heard that, it just felt like so vitriolic I wasn't sure if it was like a slur of some kind, man. Like, European racism is absolutely fucking insane, man. The Balkans are not to be trifled with. Never say that racism is gone from the world, because where there is a will, there is a way. There are some very, very passionate hobbyists who every day of their lives are trying to invent new ways to be racist. I'm really happy that this is a 10-year-old video, because I'm sure the people who featured in this, and honestly, the guy who wrote it, they're like grown adults now, and I imagine they're about as proud of this thing as I would be if I made it.
Follow those guests, you couldn't have done anything with Peter.
You're telling me Greg Heffley read her diary, man? Oh, wait, no, that's fucking true. It would have been part of the curriculum at the year that he was in middle school. Peter Van Don was another boy who was trapped in the attic with Anne Frank, who she had a crush on. Greg uses Peter Don's name as a way to say that Anne has no chance to get with Peter. It's so fucking disrespectful. Like, this is gonna be embarrassing to say, but I didn't realize, like, for the first 10 years of watching this, why these two were even being squared off against each other. Or maybe I did know at one point, but it slipped my mind. Something prompted me to bring this up on stream, and I realized live on camera, it's like, oh my god, it's because they both have diaries. Hey, if there's one takeaway from this, it's you learn new things every day. Oftentimes at the expense of people realizing you didn't know it before.
Analyze these fatal words and you'll die from concentration.
How did this make it past first filter, dude? Viewing this purely in a rap battle sense, I almost said that he was cooking her, but then it clicked a second later using that terminology is probably a terrible goddamn idea considering his opponent. He doesn't seem to mind too much, just a concentration camp bar. Analyze these fatal words and you'll die from concentration, he said. Greg is saying his raps are so complex that to get to the bottom of them, you need a fatal amount of concentration. This is also a double entendre since Anne was killed by Nazis at a concentration camp. Yep, fucking go figure. Oh my god, dude. They gave him 8 bars and he didn't waste a single one, and I really wish he had.
Come out and meet the fate of your tiny little nation.
Come and meet the fate of your tiny little nation. It's like, I get it. It's a bar about how, like, Germany ended up losing the war. Feels kind of tasteless considering, to put it lightly, they were not very nice to Anne Frank. I don't know if he realizes that in this comparison, he is putting himself in the shoes of the Nazi, who is killing Anne Frank. This shit is so ridiculously absurd, man. I can't believe this has been real and existent the whole time. Now, Greg Heffley's verse was all very strong, generalized insults, but the only personal attack he had at Anne Frank's particular person was the Van Don thing, and then the rest are all just things that were like of the era that she lived in. Terrible things, but put in wordplay and, in my opinion, not exactly picking apart Anne Frank. And if we're being honest, for this first verse at least, Greg had a lot more material going in. Like, the access he had to Anne Frank's personal life isn't comparable. So Anne Frank's forced to give a more succinct breakdown of Greg as a person, and she kind of comes out swinging.
How typical of you to treat ladies this way. But you're a chicken who won't get a chicken, that's all I have to say.
Right off the bat, her flow is way crazier than Greg's. It reminds me of Blueface's syncopated flow, where a lot of people said he couldn't find the beat, but he was actually doing something more rhythmically complex than most people realized. Like, his cadence always found the beat by the end of a bar. You can still count his verses in multiples of 4, and it works. How typical of you to treat ladies this way? I'm very convinced that if Greg Heffley grew up in the modern era, he would become a chud Sigma male. Like, if we're being honest, he's kind of a fucking loser, and he treats everybody around him like shit and doesn't appreciate the people in his life who do him right. Like, I don't think he's gonna learn as he gets older. I think he's going to become the worst version of himself because he's only ever been the worst version of himself.
You're no good at pimpin', as any girl can see. Right now you must feel awkward just talking to me.
In the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, Greg's behavior is often seen to be an introverted outcast. This leads to introverted people like Greg to feel rather uncomfortable to engage in conversation, let alone battle rapping against a female. I got a video for you. How to pull women when they think you're weird and gay. This is a predicament I found myself in many times. Just know that you are never ever appearing cool and mysterious. Everybody just thinks you're autistic.
A disgrace to all people, a wannabe weirdo. And just to be here you'd have an Amsterdam Margigo.
Man, I really wish I could co-sign Anne Frank's bars here, but they're just not hitting as hard. A disgrace to all people, like fair, a wannabe weirdo, but like, it's phrased like he wants to be a weirdo, but he is a weirdo. He's a weirdo who wants to be something else. I don't know, it's very clunky how it comes together. In the Amsterdam large ego bar, I'm not really feeling. I hate to be so one-sidedly critical, but so far she's just not winning this battle, unfortunately, as much as I was rooting for her. I don't like Greg Heffley, he's a bum.
Loser, you're less cool than your fat friend Rowley.
See, now we're like crossing a line, man. Don't fucking talk shit about Rowley. That's my goat, all right? Zooey mama, all right? Listen, Miss Frank, I got love for you, all right? You're an inspiration to a lot of people out there. Tighten up.
Loser, you're less cool than your fat friend Rowley. I'll shoot this whisk blankly, you can call me Annie Oakley.
Ooh, the Anne Frank to Annie Oakley flip? Okay, ended it strong, I'll give her that. What is Annie Oakley known for? An American marksman. Oh shit, wait! An American sharpshooter and folk heroine who starred in Buffalo Bill's Wild West. Okay, yeah, I mean, she's got a wiki page for being good at shooting stuff, so I like the bar at least. And they each get a second verse, shorter than their first, but I don't think it'll be any less eyebrow-raising to experience.
You don't scare me. I can face anyone without panic. You hide from your problems by living in an attic.
Oh my god, bro. Now that's someone off the beat. And it's a shame because if he had nailed the delivery on that, he might have been able to make that bar work. You hide from your problems by living in an attic. I'm gonna tell you this, man. Stoic principles are what she was abiding by in this situation. Listen, there are problems in life you have no direct control over. Sometimes the best option you have is to hide and wait it out the best you can. If you had half the head on your shoulders that Anne Frank does, you would see the sense in what she was doing versus what she was facing, man.
And you hide from your problems by living in an attic.
Also, what is the fucking dance he's doing in the back, man? Just like this pelvic thrust, but a really unsure, unconfident one? I'm not dunking on a kid for not knowing how to handle himself on camera immediately. Lord knows I went through it. It just strongly reminds me of those days when I wasn't as comfortable talking to nothing but a fucking piece of metal equipment.
Such a Broderick, you're so freaking over hyper. I've heard better crap from Annie while he had a loaded diaper.
I gotta say, it feels like Greg is more concerned with getting in references to his own personal life than he is at actually taking digs at his opponent in a rap battle, mind you. Like, the opening bar was, "You don't scare me," the kind of thing you say to Darth Vader before you die. Then you will die braver than most. You're such a Roderick. I've heard better crap from Manny when he had a loaded diaper. That is trash. Loud and correct buzzer, bro. Trash bars. I, a connoisseur of writing lyrics. Like balls touching when we fucking, that's Connect for, am incredibly qualified to judge these. Put me on American Idol, I'll get that shit poppin'. As a judge, I don't want to be on the stage.
After this battle, your family won't be the only thing you've lost, because your raps are worse than the entire Holocaust.
I'm gonna be so truthful. I haven't watched this all the way through in like a few goddamn years. I forgot about that bar. I mean, every other bar in here is literally just nudging and referencing to that. So for his final blow, I guess he just says the quiet part out loud. Jesus Christ, man. At least he recognizes the Holocaust was A, bad, and B, happened. Okay, and please don't fuck this up in the second verse.
You wimpy kid, you're the sole definition of a dork. I will stop the crap out of pigs like you, but I'm not allowed to touch pork.
Oh my God, bars. Oh my God. She flipped the whole Holocaust shit on him, man. So if you guys didn't know, Anne Frank is Jewish, and people who actively practice Judaism not allowed to eat pork. I'd slap pigs like you, but I'm not allowed to touch pork. Had to do it on the camera using visual effects so she didn't get her hand dirty with someone gross like Greg. And I know like the title of Greg's franchise that he stars in is literally Wimpy Kids, but so it might not seem like a dig. The whole point of that being the title is that it's a moniker that really gets to Heffley's head. He doesn't like that it's true and is deconstructing him. All right.
You try to get rich and popular, but you'll never beat my posthumous fame.
That was a goddamn read. Greg's main goal in life is essentially blow up and act like I don't know nobody. The entire trajectory of Greg Heffley's character arc has been different schemes to try and get either rich or famous. Whether one leads to the other, I'm not sure. If you could only have one, which he would prefer, I'm not really sure about, but he chases those things. He's a clout chaser seeking fleeting attention, where Anne Frank actually went through something in her life and is known for the experience she managed to endure. Also, this proposed suggestion is killing me. Try and incorporate her diary here as her logs, and being a survivor of the Holocaust caused her posthumous fame. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, man, that's news to anybody who's ever heard of Anne Frank, I'm sure.
Like the rest of your stick figure family, I guess you were just born lame.
Hold on! Who's next?
Oh, that's tough, man. Who's next, man? Who did this guy make more? Lazy Polar Bear is his name. I need to see what other songs he's made. Only Greg Heffley versus Anne Frank, man. Oh my God, I need to be literally anywhere else but on this chair recording this video. If you guys know any more like insane, like cringe or absurd shit that would be fun to react to, or maybe not fun, but would be fun for you to watch me react to, that kwytebox email is in the description. Anyways, piss off, man. I don't have the enthusiasm to be mean about it right now.